Guten Tag, APUSH. We have a new video today. It's the bee's knees by the big cheese himself, Mr. Linegar. Let's make history today as we start a new unit as we jaw over Unit 3, Day 1. But first, let's do our daily punishment. So what if I don't know what the apocalypse means? It's not the end of the world. All right, your key terms for today are the Revolution of 1800, Aaron Burr, the 12th Amendment, the Tertium Quid, Albert Gallatin, the Mosquito Fleet, the Tripoli War, the Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark, and Zebulon Pike. We're going to go over Jefferson's domestic policies and his critics, and Jefferson's foreign policies during his first term. This is really going to take us through Jefferson's first term of presidency from 1800 to 1804. So the Revolution of 1800 was the first real election with two viable political parties. You have the Democratic Republicans. They're located in the South. They're located in the West. They support states' rights. They want smaller forms of government. They support France. You have the Federalists. They support merchants, city dwellers, artisans. They're mostly located in New England. They're a little bit more elitist. They support Britain and a strong national government. What's going to happen is at this time, there was no ballot that had the president and vice president's name on the same ballot. The vice president was the person that had the second most votes. So Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr, who were both Democratic Republicans, had the same number of electoral votes. It was understood by everybody that Burr would be the vice president, but once Burr tied with Jefferson, he kind of wanted to steal the election for himself. So Burr is going to try to court Federalist people and get the Federalists to support him so he could become the president. Because since there was a tie in the presidency, the Constitution says it goes to the House of Representatives and they determine who the next president is. So Congress will have to break the tie. Burr was actually trying to steal the election from Jefferson. At the end of the day, the Federalists were supporting Burr because they hate Jefferson. But Alexander Hamilton is going to go out and publicly support Jefferson. He's going to say, even though Jefferson has like these really bad philosophical ideas, even though like I disagree with him on almost everything, at least Jefferson has beliefs. Burr is a chameleon. Burr believes in nothing. And he's going to help Jefferson win the presidency. He's going to make some very negative comments about Aaron Burr, which is going to lead to him getting killed in a couple years in a duel. Jefferson will win the election, but this will lead to the 12th Amendment. The 12th Amendment is going to end and change the system of voting for president. Now it's going to have the whole ballot system where you choose the president and the vice president. And this is called the Revolution of 1800. Jefferson called it a revolution because it's the first time a new political party gained power. Jefferson said that America was returning to its democratic ideals. Under Washington and under Adams, we became more like a monarchy, according to Jefferson's limited mind. And he thought he was returning America to democratic simplicity. The Revolution of 1800 was actually a pretty nasty election. Jefferson and Adams were actually really good friends for a while. This election is going to kind of break up their friendship. They will become friends again towards the end of their life. But they said some pretty harsh things to each other. Jefferson called him a lackey of Britain. He wants to be king. Those are fighting words. Adams called him a godless atheist. He supports terror and violence because he supported the French Revolution. So Jefferson will claim the election of 1800 was a revolution. He said it represented a return to democratic ideals. He's going to try to act very moderately and very democratic. When Jefferson was president, when he became president and moved into the White House, he fired a lot of the staff. He would answer the door himself. He would take his own notes. When he would answer the White House door, he would be wearing his pajamas and robes just to show he was a man of the people. Despite this, Jefferson will act pretty moderately. He's not going to fire all the Federalist appointees. He's going to have people look into them, and if they're competent in their job, he will keep them. Although he does fire some Federalist appointees, so he does kind of do the spoil system, but not as much as people feared. He's going to anger some of the more extreme members of the Democratic Republican Party. They're called the Tertium Quad. They're the extreme Democratic Republicans. They want to punish the Federalists. They want to get rid of every Federalist policy. They were led by John Randolph of Roanoke. He will do some stuff that was very Democratic Republican. He gets rid of the excise tax on whiskey. This will cost the government money. He's going to let the Alien and Sedition Acts expire. He's going to pardon the people that were sentenced in jail for the Alien and Sedition Acts. He'll ease the naturalization laws for immigration in 1802. However, one of the things he will not do is he will not get rid of Alexander Hamilton's economic system. Jefferson's Secretary of Treasury, for the economics, was Albert Gallatin. And Albert Gallatin, here's the pretty man right here, he admired Hamilton's economic system. He said that if you got rid of one part of the economic system, the whole economy would collapse, that Hamilton was a genius for how he created it. He will keep the National Bank, Jefferson will. He will balance the budget, however, because he opposed national debt. Jefferson was a reluctant lawyer. Jefferson, along with a lot of the Democratic Republicans, thought a standing army or a standing navy was a sign of a monarchy. So he's going to reduce the military to 2,500 soldiers. He's going to get rid of the navy that John Adams built. He's going to build a navy of small ships. It's called the Mosquito fleet because they're small little ships that sting you. They don't really do any damage. I always call them canoes. They're actually a little bit more than canoes, but they're really pretty weak sauce. There's a picture of a canoe right here. So he gets rid of the Navy with his little Mosquito fleet of canoes. And after he does that, some of the pirates, we've had pirate problems before in America, are going to start attacking American ships. They're going to demand a bribe from Jefferson, but Jefferson is very idealistic, so he's going to refuse to pay the bribe. This is going to lead to the Tripoli War. And as a result of the Tripoli War, America will send their little canoes all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to try to defeat the pirates. We actually do defeat them, and then we end up paying them $60,000, the same amount of money the bribe was anyway. So, yeah, Jefferson's an idiot. Let's lastly talk about the Louisiana Purchase. Louisiana territory was owned by Spain after the American Revolution. Napoleon will get the land from Spain. He had to promise not to give the land to the United States. Thomas Jefferson is going to send James Madison and Robert Livingston to Paris to buy New Orleans. Napoleon's going to decide he wants to sell all the land. There's a couple of reasons why Napoleon's going to decide to sell the Louisiana Purchase land. He had just failed to reconquer San Domingo and the West Indies, and he lost a whole French army. He wanted to renew war with Great Britain, so he wanted to avoid a Great Britain-American alliance. And Jefferson was threatening an alliance with Britain unless he got New Orleans. And he thought by him doing this, he would permanently make America an enemy of Britain. So on April 30th, the ambassadors will sign the Louisiana Purchase, where America will buy the Louisiana Territory right here from France for $15 million. Jefferson is going to be very worried about this, concerned, because under the Constitution, his ambassadors only had power to buy New Orleans. So what they did was kind of unconstitutional if you take a strict constructionist view of the Constitution. And remember, Jefferson was a strict constructionist. He believed in the literal meaning of the Constitution. So he's going to have a battle with himself. He knew this would be really good for America, but it also kind of went against his ideals. And of course, Thomas Jefferson, being the hypocrite that he is, he will end up bending his beliefs, and he'll be a pragmatist, and he will accept the Louisiana Purchase. One of the big things Jefferson is going to want to do is he's going to want to try to find a land route from the Atlantic to the Pacific. So he's going to send his personal clerk, Meriwether Lewis. And Meriwether Lewis's friend was from the Army, Clark. And they're going to go from St. Louis and travel all the way to eventually the Pacific Ocean in between Washington and Oregon. It's going to take 2.5 years. They'll have a Native American woman, Sacagawea, aid them. They'll explore the Missouri River, the Rockies. They'll follow Columbia River to the Pacific Ocean. When they're there, they'll catalog new types of fauna and animals. They'll make alliances with Native American tribes. This was also very much a scientific exploration. Thomas Jefferson was a Renaissance man. he was very excited to give Lewis all these ideas for these inventions to take with him and like what to look for scientifically. Stargazing, try to find animals, plants, et cetera, et cetera. But this route did demonstrate the viability of the Pacific, that there is a land route to the Pacific Ocean. Another famous explorer you should know in a comparable time period is Zebulon Pike. He's going to be an explorer somewhere over in this area right here. He's going to actually find one of the tallest mountains in America, Pikes Peak, which will be named after him. So he is another explorer. All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you for today. Until next time, deuces, 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 yeah.